got to say, I found a lot of the criticism about David Moyes following the Leicester game quite surprising. It was a 2-1 loss. Yeah, absolutely. I get it. He's going to receive some level of criticism. It's a game of football. He lost him. I think what surprised me was the anger and some of the ferocity. And I think the finality of some of it as well. It was almost as if, like, not for everyone, but for some comments, a lot of the context had been taken out of it. Because for me, looking at it, it was one of those sort of free hits. David Moyes had a free pass in this Leicester game. Yes, I wanted us to contest it better than we did. I thought we played pretty crap. I thought a lot of the players played within themselves. But I would have liked to have won it. I would have liked to have finished above Chelsea. As it turned out, we couldn't have done it anyway, even if we had won. I'd have liked to have finished... What would we finish? We finished in 14th. I'd like to finish 13th. That would have been nice. But there was a bigger picture. It was all about getting towards the final in Prague with everybody fit. And he managed to do that. And for that, I'm pleased. And if what it took for that was the players playing within themselves, then so be it. Because that's why I felt we lost the game. I felt we were actually quite close to winning it in terms of chances at the end. I don't feel we lost that game because of David Moyes' tactics. I think, if anything, we lost the game because either the players themselves decided to play within themselves or David Moyes instructed them, don't get yourselves injured, whatever it might have been. I think a prime example of that was the way Mikel Antonio played. Now, don't get me wrong, right? If you don't watch these videos very often, you're going to be watching this, and you're probably not going to know my stance on David Moyes. Been watching for a long time, you probably know what it is. I just don't feel that now is the time and the place. After we've finished, after we've done after we've done the final in Prague, I'll be producing back-to-back videos. Why David Moyes must stay as West Ham manager. Why West Ham can't retain David Moyes as West Ham manager. I'm going to argue both points. I find one of them easier to argue than the other one. Despite what I think, I still felt, I don't know. I've got no criticism for him in this game. I really don't. Antonio was a really good case in point. Antonio looked fit. He looked strong. But the parts of that game where Antonio didn't contest it were the attritional parts. The backing in, the muscling, the bits where he knocks it past the player and really stretches his legs and goes into a full all-out sprint. It was actually the real physical parts of the game. He just played with it. In dancing terms, he was marking. He marked his way through it. Bad term to use in a football match. He did the steps, but he didn't go into the full dance, if you know what I mean. And I think that epitomised what the team were doing. And it was ever so telling that it was Fornals and it was Soufal and it was Downs who I felt put the most effort in. In many respects, the players with the least to lose. Fornals for obvious reasons, Downs for even more obvious reasons, and Soufal to claim that right-back, slot-back. He really had to have a good game, so he had to put in the effort. He wasn't... Basically, Antonio could make a half-assed attempt at playing that game, and he still starts in the final. His place is assured. The same for Paqueta. The same for Declan Rice. Those other guys, they couldn't do that. Downs had to play and come off that pitch exhausted. The same for Soufal and the same for Fornals. But I thought, by and large, that the team just didn't, just weren't bothered. But you know what? I get through to the end and no one's injured, and I think that is the main thing, and that's the only thing. I wanted Moyes to rest Kurt Zouma, and he did. That was absolutely the right thing to do. I saw a lot of criticism as well about David Moyes, about him playing Paqueta for as long as he did, and Declan Rice for as long as he did. David Moyes can't win on this one. He just can't. He's getting criticism for not winning the game and not playing a strong team, but there was also a lot of criticism for not resting more players. He was honestly caught between a rock and a hard place. He was in a no-win situation. At that point, there's an old saying, you can't be all things to all men. And at the point where you're just not going to please everyone, you just got to go with your convictions. And you know what? It came through. We lost the game, but everybody is fit now. Look, if someone breaks down in training, that's a different matter. You can't not train. We can't have the players not training between now and the final against Fiorentina. That much is for sure. But In terms of the criticism for him playing Declan Rice all game, for instance, that was one of the ones that I read quite a lot of. He's got 10 days. Well, we really are in trouble. If Declan Rice or anyone else can't be fit after 90 minutes when they haven't got a game for 10 days, then we really do have problems. I think he will be. Declan Rice always struggles. The time when Declan Rice struggles is when, like when it's international break and England go away and they play whatever, 3 games in 10 days, that sort of thing. Then he comes back. His first game back, no good. Declan Rice can handle it with 10-day gap, as can pretty much anyone. So it's not the fatigue levels that worry me. It was the impact injury. The worrying thing with Declan Rice was when was his name Samir, when he studied him. I thought, oh my word, no wonder Declan was angry, because as you would be, he's thinking, hold on, this is my chance. This is my chance. And he didn't want to get an injury and someone deny him a chance of playing in the final. But he's there, and as I say, I am aware that I don't want my words to come back and bite me on the arse and someone gets a training injury. But hey, there's not a lot you can do about that. David Moyes has finally got what he wants now, which is the opportunity to get the players on the training pitch for a sustained period of time. He's complained. I've never understood this complaint from David Moyes, actually. He complains that he doesn't have enough time on the training pitch, yet often in the same interview, he'll say that European football was where he wanted to take West Ham. That was his ambition. That's where he thinks West Ham should be. He's experienced enough to know that if that's your ambition, when you eventually get there, you're going to have fixture congestion. So don't sort of complain about it once you get there. He's offering it up as mitigation as to why players are exhausted. I've never bought that. I haven't, particularly not when he spent £200 million. You have a squad, rotate it, do whatever you need to do. But anyway, it's still something that he says. I don't get a clear week on the training ground. Well, now you have. And not only that, not only have you got a clear week, actually, you didn't have any European football last week either. So he's actually had another week on the training ground. I really would hope and expect that we're going to be really well drilled ahead of that Fiorentina game. I think maybe against Leicester, I expect it to be a little bit more of a dress rehearsal. Turns out it wasn't. That wasn't a dress rehearsal for the final at all. That was just operation, let's get to the final without any of our key players injured. And by and large, we've done it. There's nothing he could do about Scamacca. And let's be fair, it's hard to argue that Scamacca is a key player now anyway. It just seems such a long time ago. It really does. When we scored that really good goal against Wolves, was it back in October maybe? It was that point he felt like an important player. He felt like West Ham had a really, really good striker. It's hard now to even view Scamacca as a loss. I guess he is a loss, but it's hard to view it as that. So in the main, David Moyes has got his first team players there. He really has. Paqueta's fine, and Declan Rice is fine. Zuma's fine. He gets to play. This is it. He gets to play his first choice midfield, his first choice defensive partner pairing as well. I don't know. At the moment, his first choice left back is Cresswell. It's chopped and changed a little bit throughout this season. I don't know his first choice right back is. For this, Kehrer did so well in the semi-finals, didn't he? But whatever, whether it's Kehrer or whether it is Soufal, David Moyes gets to pick whatever his first choice is. He gets to pick him, and that's crucial. Going to be really interested on the left hand side. Look, we got 10 days to talk about this stuff, but I just felt against Leicester, I couldn't match. I was looking at a lot of people so ferociously going at David Moyes, and despite my my feelings, which I'm putting to one side at the moment, for David Moyes and his football and a lot of the stuff, I wasn't sure. I wasn't with that. I wasn't overly bothered by it, to be perfectly honest with you. I'm so focused on the final, and I can't get that hat up. I can't get that worked up about it. So it was hard when that final whistle went. It was more relief. I wasn't angry at David Moyes. Well, it felt like good news rather than bad news, if you know what I mean. Look, it's crappy losing, don't get me wrong. But if you're going to lose a game of football, it's best off it happens in a game that don't matter.